Test 1, 2. Welcome to Edmonds Woodway High School for a big baseball game between district rivals, cross-town rivals, the Edmonds Woodway Warriors and the Meadowdale Mavericks. Joining you just in the nick of time is Brett Schaefer, the leadoff hitter for Meadowdale, stepping up for his first at-bat of the ballgame. We'll get you these lineups as we move along. Schaefer taking that one for a ball. We're looking at a 1-1 count right now. Schaefer wearing the number 5, playing center field today. Ball 2, 2-1 is the count. Pitching for Edmonds Woodway today, Austin Vaughn Johnson. And we'll get you statistics as we move along on the game. And Schaefer pops that one up to shallow center field. Scooting over and making the easy catch is Marinez. One away. And that will bring up Jacob Honeywell. Honeywell, wearing the number 17 uniform. Batting from the left-hand side of the plate, and he is your third baseman for Meadowdale. Waits for the Vaughn Johnson pitch. Inside, ball 1, 1-0 is the count. On deck, Garrett Walsh, the first baseman. Walsh, who will be the starting pitcher tomorrow. So these two teams playing 3 consecutive days against one another. They were scheduled to play yesterday. However, the game was called on a rainout. It was actually called at about 9 in the morning for precautionary reasons. So rather than play the usual Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday 3-game series, they've moved the Tuesday game to Thursday, which means 3 straight days of baseball. Game number 1 here at Edmonds Woodway, followed by games 2 and 3 tomorrow and Friday over at Meadowdale. Johnson briefly steps off the mound. Looks into Garrison Crone, his catcher. Ball is hit just to his right, fielded by the shortstop, Mitchell. Throws it across to Edwards, 2 away. And that will bring up the aforementioned Garrett Walsh. Got a few guests we're going to bring on here shortly as well, as we've got a couple of members from the Edmonds Woodway softball team who are going to join us. They have a home game later on tonight here at Edmonds Woodway, 6 p.m. start against Marysville Getchell. So a day or an evening full of baseball/softball here for the Warriors. 1-0 is the count as that pitch is a little bit outside to Walsh. Walsh also a star on the football team for the Meadowdale Mavericks squad that won the Wesco 3A South Division this year. Undefeated in league play. Walsh had a huge season on the defensive line. Johnson, check swing by Walsh. Say that was a ball. 2-1 is the count. Next pitch is just a little bit inside. Ball 3, 3-1. Walsh trying to get on base. Vaughn Johnson winds, and here comes the pitch. Walsh hits that one hard right over towards shortstop. Cutting it off is Mitchell. Throwing it over to Edwards. A 1-2-3 inning for Austin Vaughn Johnson. We've come to the end of the top of the first inning, heading to the bottom half. No score here from Edmonds Woodway High School. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits from Edmonds Woodway High School bringing you the Warriors and the Mavericks. And as promised, during the course of this game, we will get you caught up on statistics and standings and all the other fun stuff that go along with it as we still are filling out our scorebooks here. And a shot right off the bat. That is your leadoff hitter, Chance Justice. Hits it all the way to center field. The ball going all the way to the trees. Justice breezing on into second base with a stand-up double.
Number 6, shortstop, Brandon Mitchell.
So Justice over on second base, nobody out, and that will bring up the shortstop, number 6, Brandon Mitchell. Those trees are actually out of play once the ball goes into them. If it gets stuck, that would be a ground rule double, provided it does not go over the trees, which of course would be a home run, but Justice taking full advantage of that one. Mitchell laying down a beautiful bunt. Back to the pitcher's mound and not able to get on the base in time. And the ball gets by down the first base line into right field. Justice coming around easily to score, and standing up on second base is Brandon Mitchell. We'll give him a single on the play and advancing to second on the error.
Number 16, third baseman.
As Elliott Reese, the pitcher, fielding that ball, tried to throw it over to first base where could not even tell if that was Witzman, the second baseman, or Walsh, the first. I think Witzman had actually come over to try to cover the base. Was trying to find his footing as he went to catch that ball, and in the process lost track of where the ball was. Ball ends up going all the way up the right field line. And as we mentioned, Brandon Mitchell on the play, heading down to second. Justice scores 1-0 Warriors here in the bottom of the first inning, and that will bring up the third baseman, Joey Reese. Reese versus Reese. Different spellings. Reese the batter, R-E-E-S. Reese the pitcher, R-E-E-C-E. So obviously no relation there. Joey looking at a 1-0 count. Awaits the Reese delivery. A little bit high and outside. Ball 2. 2-1 is the count. Number 4 hitter, the catcher, Garrison Crone, in the batter's box, or warming up right now on the on-deck circle. Swung on and missed, strike 1. 2-1 is the count. Mitchell lead off of second base. Swung on and fouled off. 2-2 is now the count to Joey Reese. Get to the rest of the lineup here. So again, Crone is on deck right now. Nick Hull batting in the 5 spot. He's your DH. Dominic Marinez is your center fielder. Brady Edwards, first baseman. Reed Whitson is in right field. And Matt Gerhardt batting 9th, playing second base for the Warriors today. Get you the Meadowdale lineup in the field here in just a moment. 2-2 count. 1 runner on, 1 already in. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. So to get you caught up on the Meadowdale lineup, in the field anyway, your outfield is Max Johnson in left, Brett Schaefer center, Dakota Parliament in right. Your infield, Elliot Reese is pitching. Catching is Parker Coffey. First base, Garrett Walsh. Second base, Reed Whitson. Kenley Ackerman is your shortstop. Ball is fielded by Walsh. Covering the bases, Reese, the pitcher. Gets the putout at first base. And on the play, Brandon Mitchell heading down to third on the sacrifice.
Number 19 catcher Garrison Crone.
So nice at bat for Reese, exactly what he wanted to do there. Advancing the base runner, and that will bring up Garrison Crone. And to round out your Meadowdale field, Jacob Honeywell playing third base. Ball to Crone, high, ball 1. 1-0 is the count. Another high pitch, ball 2, 2-0. Free base over at first. Be curious to see if Reese throws him anything worth hitting. First matchup between these two teams this year. Another ball, ball 3, 3-0. Nick Hall right in front of us here as we are broadcasting just a little bit down the first baseline, right next to the Edmonds Woodway dugout. That ball is swung on and hit hard into the gap. No, actually into the corner in right field. We lost the visual of it for a moment, and sliding into second safely, easily making it, is Crone with the RBI double. Mitchell comes in to score. And just like that, the Warriors 2, the Mavericks 0. Hall lacing that one right down the right field line into the corner. Floating away from Parliament. Had to go retrieve it and throw it in, and by that time, they had no play at second base. Crone getting in there fairly easily with the double. So again, Hall is now your batter. Number 1, Dominic Marinez is on deck. Strike called, 0-1 is the count to to Hall. One out here so far in the bottom of the first inning. Edmonds Woodway swung on and missed. Very similar to their last game on Friday against Mount Lake Terrace, a game in which they won 5-1. Jumped out on the Hawks with a 4-run bottom half of the first. It's really all the runs they needed as they cruised to a fairly easy victory from that moment on. Trying to do a similar job to the Mavericks here early by jumping out on top quickly, and so far so good. 2 runs in, only 1 out. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, Nick Hall going down with the strikeout. That is the first strikeout of the game for Elliot Reese. That will bring up number 1, Dominic Marinez. Marinez standing in the batter's box, ready to go. Hits that one right towards the right fielder, bounces in front of Parliament. A single on the play. Throw is going to come home to the plate. Not in time. Runner scores on the play. Marinez ends up on second base with the RBI.
Number 3, first baseman.
I realize it. That pinch runner Joey O'Day was in the game for Edmonds Woodway. As a courtesy runner for Crone, he comes in to score. Certainly, Meadowdale might have had a play at second base if they wanted it, but they tried for the play at home. Marinez goes all the way down to second base. So we're still looking at 2 outs, 3 runners in, 1 on base. As Brady Edwards gets his first at bat of the game. Edwards laces that one into left field, and making an outstanding catch is Kenley Ackerman as he fades into left field. That ends the inning. However, the Warriors striking early first, 3 runs. We head to the second inning. The Warriors 3, the Mavericks 0. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Leading off for the Mavericks, catcher number 10, Parker Coffey.
Let's go, AB! Nice!
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits here from Edmonds Woodway High School. The Warriors striking first, 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. They now lead the Mavericks 3-0. That ball is hit rather sharply down the left field line, but foul. 0-2 count. As getting his first at bat of the day, the catcher, number 10, Parker Coffey. Coffey batting from the left-hand side. Waits for the Vaughn Johnson pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. As Vaughn Johnson with his first
Dakota Parliament.
strikeout of the game. And Dakota Parliament now coming up to the plate. And I think at this time, we'll see if we can test these out. We're going to try to welcome our guests here, and we'll have you move your microphone up just a little bit. Get that a little closer to you. We have a couple of members from the Edmonds Woodway softball team joining us, and that is swung on and missed. So Dakota Parliament looking at an 0-1 count. Moni Jackson and Kayla Krall are on with us right now.
Hello.
Ladies, first of all, welcome to the Sound Live Sports Network. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, as we're looking at a 1-1 count right now. We'll be talking to them in between pitches and between innings a little bit, as they are fully dressed in their softball garb. Not because they like to wear it around, but because they have a game today at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Side ball 2-1 is the count. So Moni, tell us a little bit about your season so far. How have things been going for the Warriors ladies?
Season has been going good. We are currently 4-3.
4-3.
Yeah, 4-3. We have a game today against Sketchell, and we've just been doing a really good job this year. Impressed.
Well, right down the left field line, fair ball, Parliament. Just drilling that one right past the third baseman. Another double. Those seem to be pretty popular today. However, that's the first one
Kenley
for Meadowdale, as that is their first hit of the game, first base runner for that matter, which will bring up Kenley Ackerman. Now, Kayla, what year are you at with Edmonds Woodway? Are you a senior also?
Yeah, I'm a senior.
So you're two of the three captains, is that right?
Yeah.
So who are we missing right now?
Taylor Jones.
She didn't want to join us today, or what?
I think, she goes to school at Edmonds, so community.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a start.
So we were lucky enough that you both are already on school grounds here, so you came over and joined us for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, but she's a junior.
So two seniors and a junior as your team captains.
Yeah.
And I know the one chance I got to watch you play this year, heartbreaker loss. I think it was it 13-12 in 8 innings over at Mountlake Terrace? Was it 14-13?
14-13.
Yeah, high scoring game at that, right?
Yeah.
Are those games that I think that's got to be the highest scoring game you played all year, right?
Yeah.
Do you like, as a softball player, do you like playing in the higher scoring games, or would you rather play in a tight 3-2 game?
I think I would rather play the tight 3-2 game. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's like even just in the Mountlake Terrace game, like when we had our little rally, it was just so exciting, and then we tied it up, and it was very tense and really nerve-wracking.
So we're looking at a 1-1 count right now to Ackerman. Timeout is called. Well, let me ask you about that, too, since we're talking about Mountlake Terrace for a moment. And apparently we've got a balk called, so they're going to move Parliament on down to third base. We're swatting bees here now, even. This is fun, huh? I guess it wasn't a bee, but something is buzzing around us right now. So last year you played at the 4A level. This year it's 3A, so all 4 of the schools in the Edmonds School District are now playing rival games that actually matter in the standings. And, for instance, this baseball game here that would have been taking place last year between Edmonds Woodway and Meadowdale would have been non-conference.
yeah.
Fouled off, strike 2. Is it a lot more fun for you knowing that when you're playing your crosstown rivals, you're playing the Linwoods and the Mountlake Terraces and the Meadowdales, those
Especially
games matter?
Meadowdale, because now we get to play them twice instead of one, so that's more fun.
Is that more? But Meadowdale's a good squad still, right?
Yeah, they're so good, but we only lost by 1, so.
So you're playing them tight then. You're playing them tough.
Yeah, it was really competitive,
And next time we get them on our home field, so.
and it's also senior night.
So what's the biggest motivator for you? The fact that it's senior night, or the fact that they're on your home field, or just that you lost to them already?
I think it's because they're really good, and we just have a nerve to beat them.
Because we know we're just as good as any other team, and they are too, and so we play as if they're the best, and we're the best.
Another foul ball. 1 and 2 is still the count. So who are the big contending teams in your conference right now? Who are the teams that worry you the most? Who are the teams that you think you have to contend with the most to get to the next level and to make it to the state tournament?
Definitely Meadowdale, I would think.
Yeah. Linwood too.
I mean, all the teams in our district are
They're all
pretty
very
good.
tough.
Yeah, you really don't get an easy game, do you, this year? I know.
Same thing with basketball. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Modi, we should ask you about that a little bit, too. We're great basketball season, but
Thank
you
you.
guys just got stuck in the toughest conference and
Yeah, it was-
toughest district in the state and ended up going home a little bit early. But how much fun was it for you to have that season? And
It was really fun. I mean, all in all, it was sad, but I had a good time.
ball is lined into right field for a base hit. Ackerman bats Parliament in, so Parliament is the first Meadowdale score of the game. Cuts the Edmonds Woodway lead down to 3-1. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 7, Alex Thompson. So how often do you two get out to the baseball games, and how often do the baseball players come out and support you? Is there?
I don't think they come and support us at all.
Yeah, I don't think we've
Well,
had
we're
one
calling them out
baseball
here then,
player
right?
come.
They deserve
But
it.
I've been to a couple games so far. I usually come with another teammate, Ari Gerard. Yeah,
Okay.
her and I, we both come. We came during spring break. Sometimes we'll check it out before our games or right after our practices.
And you mentioned earlier you have a brother that plays in the program, right?
Yeah.
Want to give him a shout out right now?
Yeah, Cameron Crawl. He's on JV. He hasn't played baseball for 3 years, but he's apparently, so I've heard, one of the best.
That ball is shot right into the right-hand corner by a reaching first baseman. That was Edwards that was trying to make the stop. And getting a double on the play is Thompson. Ball was hit so sharply that Ackerman not able to quite make it all the way around as he advances to third. So runners in scoring position. That's going to bring up number 16, Max Johnson. Tying run over there on second base. Johnson represents the go-ahead run here in the second inning. And also, playing softball this time of year in the state of Washington, always a little bit of a challenge. Looks like you're going to be playing in the sun tonight, or
Yeah.
at least for a while until it goes down. much more enjoyable sport to play when it's dry out. I mean, what are the challenges when it's raining? Not only from the batting standpoint, but from fielding.
Difficulty of pitching definitely, because our pitcher can't get around the ball when it's wet.
Just any pitcher in general.
Yeah, any pitcher in general.
Now, you play shortstop?
Yeah.
Does the ball slow down a little bit for you then when it hits the?
Actually, on turf it's fast, so even if it's raining, it goes even faster.
So it kind of depends on where you're playing then, I guess. If you're
dirt, it's slow.
Yeah, I can imagine. Nikayla, you play which positions again?
Second base and right field.
So I would imagine on a wet game for you, a little bit of the same situation. If you're playing on turf, it's still going to slide pretty quickly out to you to second. But other than that, maybe it slows it down a bit and makes it a little bit easier. Tell us a little bit about the team too. What are the strengths so far this year?
Oh,
You're the softball team, not the
softball
baseball
team.
team.
Baseball team. I think our strengths are I think communicating is a big one for us, and we're doing really good this year in hitting. So.
And just coming together as a team, because we're still a pretty we have a lot of young players.
Yeah, our team's really young.
So we're still we're bonding a lot with them. We've had team bonding a couple times already. We try to have it every week just to grow more, just to grow together more and to grow the chemistry.
2-0 count. Swung on and missed. Strike one, 2-1. So from a team bonding standpoint, is that something that you as the captains organize, or is it something the coaches are working on? How does that come about?
Us three get together and decide when and where we do everything.
Yeah.
Got a 2-1 count coming from Austin Von Johnson. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike two. 2-2. We're getting pictures here for the social media portion of what we do. Hannah Gradwall, our photographer expertise, also running the board here. And we're going to get right back to you on the team bonding here in a minute. I'd like to know what some of those activities are, and we'll do that after this next pitch. To Johnson. Hits that one deep into right center field. The defenders are going back, off the base of the wall. 2 runs have already come in to score. Johnson with a stand-up 2-run double ties this game up at 3 in the second inning. I hope neither one of you are superstitious, because ever since you came over, your Warrior team's struggling here a little bit. But
No.
Fine.
there you go. It's early still, right?
They'll toughen up.
So speaking of toughening up, speaking of bonding, what kind of team activities are we looking at? What do the Warrior softball team players do?
I guess we just do sleepovers and games and I don't know, we had a scavenger hunt a couple weeks ago and that was really fun. So it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right around Easter. Yeah, they had a scavenger hunt. I had to work, so I had to miss it.
Is there any kind of initiation for the freshmen or the sophomore players on the team, or what do you do with them?
I mean, the freshmen had to do a couple of things.
Well,
but
Anything we can talk about?
We
or
won't get into that.
Are you fairly nice to them? I mean, you want them to be,
yeah.
be good teammates too, right?
We love our freshmen.
So I guess at the end of the day, you still need to rely on them occasionally. You're in the lineup, right?
Especially one of them is our main pitcher. So.
Are we looking at one of them right over here?
Yeah.
Who do we have over here right now?
Jackie Lovelace and
Ciara.
I don't know her last name.
Ciara.
Ciara.
But
Ciara-
your
Ciara.
teammate, you don't know her last name?
We love her.
Love you, Ciara.
So who is your main pitcher? You mentioned
Mariah.
Mariah last name?
Woolley.
There we go. How many pitchers are you going with right now in the rotation? Is there?
We have.
I feel like I see Mariah's name quite a bit when I look in the.
She's our main pitcher. Then we have Kira.
She's a swing player, but she's our relief pitcher.
Both of our main pitchers are freshmen.
Yeah.
So Moni, you were pitching a little bit in the past.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, something you enjoyed doing, or are you happy you're playing at second or shortstop?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like pitching, and short's where my heart's at. So.
That's
And especially with basketball, pitching and softball in general just messes my arm up. So.
Never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, it actually does.
Is it just more of a motion thing, or is it more of a?
Yeah, I have tendonitis in my arm, so pitching in general just messes up my arm for basketball, and then I just can't shoot sometimes. So.
Well, and I know you wouldn't be the one to say this, so I'll say it for you. Certainly, position, you're one of the better passers I've seen in the state last year, and one of your big things is the one-handed pass. So is that the motion you're talking about as far as the tendonitis?
Yeah.
Ball is fouled off into the tennis courts. Everybody look out below and seem to be safe. So is it that motion from passing the ball the way you do during the basketball season? Or?
Yeah, and shooting too. Just passing will just mess with my arm up if I just pitch. So I had to stop pitching for a while, and now forever.
0-2 count coming up here to Witzman. 1 out, 3 already in here in the top of the second inning. Witzman gets a hold of that one, takes it into deep center field. Going back on the ball is Marinez off the scoreboard. Witzman heading towards second base. He has a double. An RBI puts Meadowdale ahead 4-3 here in the top of the second inning. And it seems to be a hit fest right now as Austin Von Johnson getting roughed up, and we might even see a pitching change. Will Budnick, the pitching coach, heads out to the mound. See what he decides to do. And while he does that, we're going to take a quick break, but we're not going to let these ladies go yet. You've got a few more minutes before we need to get rid of you, right, and get you back to practice.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break, but you are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Edmonds Woodway versus Meadowdale. Edmonds Woodway taking a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. Meadowdale coming back and countering with 4 runs here already into the top of the second inning. They now have a 4-3 lead on a gorgeous day here at Edmonds Woodway High School. No pitching change made as Austin Von Johnson remains in the ballgame. And for a few more minutes, we have a couple of the star softball players for the Edmonds Woodway Warriors. Crawl and Moni Jackson joining us. And we checked with one of our last names at the break there. What is, did we already forget? Uh-oh, ladies. Sarah Ortiz is over here. So she's about 20 feet away, so we need to make sure we're getting her name right. And Sierra, what year is she?
Yeah, freshman.
And you said the other player that's with her?
Sophomore, Jackie Lovelace.
Jackie Lovelace, okay. She's your, what's that?
Jackie, she's our catcher.
So you have to be nice to those ladies, right? They're a valuable and integral part of your team. So, how many seniors are on the team? Do you know off the top of your head? 4, okay. So a relatively young team, like you said, but everything seems to be coming together.
A lot of freshmen.
Yeah, there's a lot of freshmen.
When you were juniors last year, how much do you follow some of the middle school level? Did you know that some of those players were going to be coming up and making a pretty big?
My mom, assistant coaches at college play, so she knew who was coming up and everything. So I knew it was coming up.
I got to ask you about that too. Your mom is assistant coach on your team right now too, as well, right? How what's that like for you?
I love it. I mean, it's my senior year, so I gotta do everything possible to spend time with my mom before I go to college. So
Very nice.
that's one thing she loves is softball.
Brett Schaefer now at the plate. Up for the second time today. He flew out to center back in the first inning, looking at a 2-1 count. 2-1. So it's not one of those things where pressure on you because you're her daughter and therefore you have to.
Middle school it was, but
she's gotten better as you get
she's
older.
laid low this year.
Now you talked about college a minute ago. You were going to, and that ball is hit over to shortstop. Mitchell fires it across, gets it to Edwards. Very close play at first. They're going to say he was out.
17, third baseman,
On the
Jacob
play.
Honeywell.
Heading down to third base is Whitson. So Whitson on third base. Jacob Honeywell now up with 2 outs. So UPS for you next year, correct? And you're going to be a basketball player there.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. You know, you're playing for an ex-University of Washington player, too. Who's your coach there at UPS?
Oh, Lori Payne.
Lori Payne. Star at UW a few years back. And
Yeah.
you excited to play for Lori?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited just to play basketball in general in college. So
Now, Kayla, what are your plans for your college?
Next year, I'm going to go to Eastern Washington.
Okay. Going to be an Eagle over there.
Yeah.
Any sports ambitions over there? You're just going to be a student, or what are you
I'm
going to
just
do?
going to be an athletic, try to be an athletic trainer, so that's what I'm going there for.
Oh, good for you. Okay. Is that one of the better athletic trainer programs in the
Yes,
state?
yeah, but I done my research. It's also not very not too expensive. So it's like one of the major reasons.
Nothing wrong with that. And you're not so far away from home to where you can't get over here and
Yeah.
visit the family during the holidays.
Yeah,
And
it's only 4.5 hours, which is nice.
you're far enough away to where they can't keep a close eye on you, but at the same time you can get home, right?
Exactly.
Now, how about you, Moni? What went into your decision for UPS?
I guess just like how the school looks and how they do teaching there is a big thing for me. And
We got a few teachers. We have a few other Warrior players coming by now. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and we finally come to the end of the top of the second inning. We'll keep you on for 3 more outs. Is that okay? So we're going to be right back. But Meadowdale getting 4 runs here in the top of the second inning. They take the lead. Mavericks 4, Warriors 3. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
If you've been wanting to get back in the game, whether it's basketball or just improving your fitness level, Edmonds Sports Academy is the place to go. Edmonds Sports Academy, believe in the power of play. Call them at 5-772-1901.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits, along with our special guests for one more half inning anyway, from the Edmonds Woodway softball team, Moni Jackson and Kayla Krall, the captains for the Edmonds Woodway softball team. And again, a quick reminder, these young ladies are playing at the softball field just, I guess, feels like it's a few blocks from here, but it's just right on the other side of the school. 6 p.m. start tonight against Marysville Getchell. And certainly if anybody's out there watching right now and you want to get out here, it's a gorgeous night. Should be a fun night to watch some softball and watch the Warriors take on the Chargers of Marysville Getchell. What does count as a league game, correct?
Yeah.
It's obviously the Getchell playing in the North Division, but it still counts as a win or a loss in the column. Noticing more of your teammates have joined you over here, so you got the whole squad here practically now.
Yeah.
So we were asking earlier if the two teams support each other. At least the softball team's out here supporting baseball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a couple baseball players to come
Probably
support us.
not.
We're going to start putting more pressure on them. Swung on and missed. That's strike 3 as get a strikeout from Reed Whitson, who was up for the first time today. So again, if you're just tuning in, Edmonds Woodway getting Meadowdale out in order in the top of the first inning. Warriors were then able to score 3 runs in the bottom half of the first to take the lead. Meadowdale came storming back, getting 4 runs in the top half of the second inning, and that's where we stand right now. As Matt Gerhardt getting his first at-bat of the game. Chance Justice, the leadoff hitter for the Warriors, on deck right now. And Chance had a double in his first at-bat and later came around to score. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, 2-2. So, Kayla, we were asking you earlier, you follow the Warrior team a little bit here, the baseball team. You want to give us your assessment of the team so far this year? What do you think?
They're doing pretty well. I really followed like the JV team, but yeah, varsity I know they
have some strong hitters.
Yeah,
on
they have a lot of
varsity.
really strong hitters. And really good. They're really well like, defensively, but I think it's just mainly communication.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now just because it's fun. Who's your favorite player on the Warrior baseball team?
My brother.
Hey, good answer. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Go with your brother. Moni, what about you? You have a favorite Warrior out here? Favorite Warrior or two? Who are the any good friends on the team?
Probably Chance Justice, as I've known him since I was like a baby.
There we go. Striking out on the play is Matt Gerhardt.
Right fielder,
2 straight strikeouts, and then there comes the player you've known since you were a baby, Chance Justice. Chance, by the way, having a very good football season for the Warriors.
Yeah.
How about your? Did I just get unplugged? Got to ask you about the football team next year because you, the guy who might be playing starting quarterback for the Warriors, is somebody you might already know, right?
Yeah, my brother.
Your little brother, Isaac's going to be out there.
Yeah. Hopefully.
You're going to have a chance to come back and watch some games from UPS?
Yeah,
or?
definitely. Oh, nice hit.
Ball is hit into left field, bouncing right in front of the left fielder, playing it on a hop. Justice now 2 for 2 on the day.
Shortstop, Brandon Mitchell.
So you both have younger brothers that are at school here. You're both going to have to come around and support the athletic teams next year, right? Kayla, might be a little bit harder for you. You're going to be a little bit further away, but.
Well, no, I'll definitely be, like, because my brother also plays football. And so, like, I'll see him for football and I'll also see him for baseball. I'm pretty sure he's going to continue playing baseball. This is his first year.
That ball is hit into right field. Coming up to make the catch. And retire the side. That's Parliament. So Edmonds Woodway getting the hit from Justice, but that is it. We're going to head to the third inning, and ladies, we'll let you go. But thank you very much for both coming on here.
Yeah,
continued
thanks
success.
for having us.
We will have a one of these days. We're going to get one of your games on here before the end of the season. Again, good luck tonight against the Getchell Chargers, and good luck the rest of the season.
It's basketball.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Your fitness level. Edmonds
So Moni
Sports
Jackson
Academy
and
is the
Kayla Kroll,
place
our
to go.
guests. We're going to take a quick
Edmonds
break.
Sports
When we come
Academy
back,
believe
we will get
in
to the Meadowdale
power of play.
part of the third inning. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
772-1901.
Baseman, number 18, Garrett Wall.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. 3 with the lead after 2 innings, thanks to a 4-run top of the second inning. Austin Von Johnson was able to get through that second inning. Let's see if he's able to come back a little bit stronger. He had a heck of a first inning. Retired the first 4 Meadowdale batters he faced before running into a bit of a struggle there in the top of the second inning. And as promised, now that we've gotten some of these interviews out of the way, we'll get you some stats as we go along here as well. Ball 2, 2-0 is the count. Number 18, Garrett Walsh at the plate right now. Walsh hits that one to short. Mitchell fields it, throws it across to Edwards, and he is retired. Second time today is grounded out to short. It's going to bring up the catcher, Parker Coffey. Coffey striking out back in the second inning. Coffey coming into this game with a .321 batting average, .571 slugging percentage. Batting in that number 4 hole. Also has a home run this year. There's 4 home runs hit by by the Mavericks so far. Parliament has 2 of those. Garrett Walsh having the other one. Ball is low, ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Nobody on base, 1 out here, top of the third inning.
No, he didn't go.
Checking his swing is Coffey. Ball bounces in the dirt. Up to the catcher where Crone made a nice play on the play.
2-1.
Vaughn Johnson winds, and here comes the pitch. Strike two called. 2-2 now the count. We again appreciate Kayla Kroll and Moni Jackson for jumping on with us for a little bit as they prepare for their game tonight. That ball is hit deep into left field. Moving back on the ball and making the grab is Reed Whitson, 2 away.
Right fielder, number 12, Dakota Bartleman.
That will bring up the right fielder, number 12, Dakota Bartleman. Bartleman, as we look at his stats through 9 games this season, adding .379 on the year. That's third on the team, only behind Garrett Walsh and Jacob Honeywell. We mentioned a minute ago, Bartleman with 2 of the 4 Meadowdale home runs this season. Also has 4 doubles in his 29 at-bats. Hits that one foul down the third base line over towards his own dugout. 0-2 is the count. Nice job by Austin Von Johnson. Seems to have found his groove a little bit here. Of course, as soon as we say that, he bounces one up to the plate. Classic jinx by the announcer, if you will.
Thank you. One ball, 2 strikes.
Ball hits him. He's going to head on down to first base. First base runner of the inning for Meadowdale. That's one way to get on. And Kenley Ackerman, who had a RBI single back in the second inning, is now up again. So we attempt to pull up some statistics for you here and get you some standings as to where these teams are at in Wesco right now. Top 4 teams in each division advancing to districts. And actually, the way they've set it up this year, depending on what 2 fourth-place teams may or may not have to have a playoff game against one another to get into the district tournament. So here comes the next pitch in the dirt. Nice stop by Crone on the play. Bartleman takes off for second base, gets in there easily. So heading into the day, should mention overall record. Meadowdale with a 4-5 record. They're 3-4 in conference play. Edmonds Woodway has played 2 extra games. They're 5 wins and 6 losses. And they're also 1 game under 500 in conference play at 4-5. So these 2 teams are battling with Mount Lake Terrace right now for that 4th and final spot. All 3 of those teams 1 game under 500. That ball is lined towards the dugout of Meadowdale, and everybody ducks away from it as Ackerman fouls one off. So Shorewood is 8-0. They are the division leader, followed by Linwood at 6-2. Glacier Peak in 3rd place with a 6-5 record. Mount Lake Terrace 5-6. Already Edmonds Woodway 4-5. Meadowdale 3-4. So really, Glacier Peak 1 game over 500. Terrace, Edmonds Woodway, and Meadowdale all 1 game under 500. Assuming that Linwood and Shorewood continue to play at the rate they're going right now, both with a little bit of a cushion in terms of being ahead of the other teams. Glacier Peak, Terrace, Edmonds Woodway, and Meadowdale might be fighting for that 3rd place spot, which guarantees you a place in the district playoffs. The team that finishes 2nd out of that group will more than likely have to have a play-in game against the team that finishes in 4th in the North Division in order to make it to districts this year. And that ball is almost thrown into center field as Von Johnson spins around and throws it over there to second base, getting Bartleman to jump back in. Looking at the North Division really quickly as well, Marysville-Pilchuck leads that division with a 5-0 record, followed by Arlington and Oak Harbor, both at 2. Stanwood currently your 4th place team at 2-2. Everett 1-3, and then Marysville-Getchell rounds out that division with an 0-5 record.
2-1.
So a lot of baseball still to determine who in fact will and will not make the playoffs. Let's take a look at these 2 teams' schedules here a little bit as well. That pitch is high, ball 3-1. We mentioned that these two teams are playing a 3-game series starting today, 3 consecutive days. If you missed the report earlier, they were yesterday at Meadowdale High School. And for precautionary reasons, that game was canceled in the morning and moved to tomorrow night for fear of rain. And as it turns out, there wasn't much rain anyway, so they could have gotten that game in. But at any rate, they will play here at Edmonds Woodway today, which they're playing right now. They will play at Meadowdale Thursday and again on Friday. After that series is over, Edmonds Woodway has a 3-game series against Linwood starting next Tuesday at Linwood High School. So they'll have a home game on Wednesday, and then they go back to Linwood again on Friday. And then they conclude their season with a 3-game series against Glacier Peak. Home games on Tuesday, April 28th, and Friday, May 1st. As Ackerman heads on down with a walk.
Number 7, designated hitter
So
Alex
they will play 2 of those 3
Thompson.
games against Glacier Peak at home. April 20th, Friday, May 1st, and they will have a road game in there also on April 29th. Let's go ahead and take a look at Meadowdale's schedule here while we're going through those as well.
Better.
We know Mount Lake Terrace is playing a
Test.
3-game series against Shorewood right now. They lost the first game of those 3 yesterday. It's a 3-1 final. Going against Ian Oxnard, the pitcher for Shorewood, all-state caliber season. He's been dominating everybody thus far, so Mount Lake Terrace has gotten past him already this week. Kind of figured they might lose that game, but they're playing right now over at, I believe that game today is at Meridian Fields in Shoreline, followed by a game on Friday, and certainly a game that these two teams will be paying very close attention to. Stealing and heading down towards second base, that's Ackerman. Gets in there easily as Edmonds Woodway content letting him go, knowing that there's a base runner on third also. So Parliament is on third, Ackerman on second. 1-1 count with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Meadowdale already with the 4-3 lead and looking for more as Alex Thompson continues to be up at the plate. Lon Johnson steps off. Looking at the rest of Meadowdale's schedule, they have a 3-game series against Shorewood next week. As I mentioned, Shorewood undefeated this year so far. Johnson fouls that one off. So they will be playing at Shorewood next Tuesday and Friday with a home game sandwiched in there on Wednesday. The following week, they play Shorecrest in a 3-game series, the home game being on Wednesday the 29th. And then they finish off their season with 2 games against Mount Lake Terrace on Monday, May 4th and Tuesday, May 5th. This is a 2-game series because of the fact that those 2 teams played back on March 20th. A rare early March, I should say late March, but early season conference game between those 2 teams. So again, this season might come right down to the wire in terms of whether or not these teams make the playoffs for both of these squads. And this game certainly matters because of everything we just mentioned. Play is made out in right field. Justice makes the catch. No harm done. Meadowdale leaves 2 runners on. They do not score at all. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Meadowdale 4, Edmonds Woodway 3. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Test.
How long are we going to be here?
We get breaks in between each inning.
He's getting some like 2 innings.
Test.
Number 16, third baseman Joey Reed.
Let's go,
And welcome back to Edmonds Woodway High School. The home team, the Edmonds Warriors, Edmonds Woodway Warriors, showing my age there a little bit, almost forgetting to include the Woodway. They're coming up here in the bottom of the third inning. They trail 4-3. That might be changing here quickly as Joey Reese lining that one into right field and making an outstanding catch on the play. It is Barlament, so one quick out as Reese flies out, and that will bring up the catcher, Garrison Crone. Crone, who doubled, RBI doubled in the first inning and later came around to score in part of that big 3-run bottom half of the first. That gave the Warriors an early 3-0 lead before watching Meadowdale come back for 4 in their part of the second inning. Crone hits that one into center field. It drops in front of Schaefer, base hit. Crone now 2 for 2 on the day. Designated hitter Nick Hull, and making his debut here on our broadcast, one of our newest members of the team, Phil Bernard. Did I say Bernard?
Bernard, yes.
Bernard.
Yes.
And a name that might sound familiar to some folks here. Woodway graduate.
Yes.
2009?
2009 is correct, yes.
And your brother played baseball here.
He did. He played up through 2012, all 4 years.
Let's make sure we mention his first name, too.
Patrick Bernard.
There we go, Patrick Bernard. So you're not a stranger to this field then, right?
No, I've watched many games here.
Pitch comes in, strike one, swung on and missed by Nick Hull. And Phil, you've been over here watching the game here so far. What's your early take on the innings? What are you seeing?
Well, I noticed is both teams seem to be playing well and really just gave up a few runs in one sort of quick little streak inning. Other than that, the play's been solid for both teams.
Both pitchers starting to settle down here a little bit after both catching a 3-out hiccup there at one time or another as Hall fouls that one off, 0-2 count.
Yeah, it's good to see him settle down after having a rocky start a little bit for both of them and move into the rest of the game.
Indeed, and looking at Elliot Reese's stats, which we haven't covered yet today. We'll pull up Edmonds Woodway stats online here in a minute. We've got a handout in which has Reese 18 innings coming into this game. 1-2 record is strike 3 there. Yes. Hall strikes out. But really coming into this game, Reese had a record of 1-2, but a little bit misleading through 18 innings. ERA of 2.33, so an outstanding ERA.
It's a good start to the year.
Walked 6, struck out 16 in 18 innings, so that's certainly solid. Had only given up 2 extra base hits, a double and a home run.
Wild throw to first base.
By the way, O'Day into pinch, or courtesy run, I should say. Once again for Crone. We saw that in the first inning as well. One of the luxuries that we have here in the high school game where you can bring the pinch runner in, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to leave the game. So O'Day now over on first base wearing that number 71 on the wild pitch, or his throw that went up the line. Dominic Marinez doubled in the first inning, also drove in one, getting his second at bat of the game. Fouls that one. That's kind of the tricky part about this place here. He fouled it off of one of the fence poles up above him. Ball hit that pole and took a weird ricochet onto the tennis courts. Fortunately, it was on one of the courts where the ladies are not playing. But if you are playing tennis over here, you have to keep an eye on things at all times, don't you?
Yeah, the ball definitely likes to leave the field of play here. And there's the parking lot, the tennis courts, and the street all around it. So
yeah, not only
really no safe zone.
The tennis courts are extremely close to the field, so when that ball ricochets or flies over that fence, it does it quickly. And I'm sure if you're a tennis player here, you get used to that and you adjust fairly rapidly. If you don't, you might have a few welts on your body before the end of the tennis season.
You gotta keep a couple eyes out, yeah.
Ball 2 count to Marinez. So again, this series we will not be broadcasting either of the next 2 games. However, we do encourage folks to get out and watch these 2 teams. These games matter right now. They are fighting for that playoff spot. So again, up over at Meadowdale High School. You know that tomorrow, Garrett Walsh will be pitching for Meadowdale. Brady Edwards, who is actually standing directly in front of us right now, he will be pitching for Edmonds Woodway. And then Chance Justice game, and we do not know at this point who is going to be pitching for Meadowdale on Friday. Marion is looking at a 2-2 count. Reese, a 3-pitch pitcher. He has a fastball, throws a changeup, and he also throws a slider. Ball's hit over to second base. Making the play is Witzman, throws it over to first, and we've come to the end of the third inning. No runs here for the Warriors in their part of the inning. We head to the fourth. Meadowdale 4, Edmonds Woodway 3. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Sound Live Sports Network production services are provided by the Broadcast Field Production Class, a CTE intra-district course. If you are a student in the Edmonds School District, you can be part of the exciting world of live sports production. Learn about broadcast announcing, broadcast engineering, and sports reporting while providing a valuable service to your community. Contact your school counselor today to find out more and sign up for Broadcast Field Productions.
And welcome back to Edmonds Woodway High School, the home of the Warriors. And they are playing a huge game here against district and division rivals, the Meadowdale Mavericks. And Phil Bernard, I was talking about this a little bit earlier with the ladies that were joining us from the softball team. Much more enjoyable when these two teams are playing in the same division. The last couple of years they haven't been, with Edmonds Woodway being up at the 4A level before dropping down to 3A this year. But having been a student here and having graduated from here, you know that Edmonds Woodway and Meadowdale, no matter what sport they're playing, it's always a fun rivalry.
Very true. It's always one of the most fun games to come out and watch, and just anytime you can get one of those rivalries going, it makes it more fun for the players, it makes it more fun for the fans, and just makes for better play.
Well, and much better opportunities for, or probability, I should say, for the students of these schools to see each other out and about. Schools are only a few miles apart, and certainly if you're one of these athletes, you more than likely grew up playing against one another, maybe even playing on the same team for that matter, and you always want to have that bragging right.
Yeah, a little bit of a pride to hold over everyone's head.
Strike 3 called as strikes out. It's the second for Vaughn Johnson. Austin Vaughn Johnson still working on the mound there. And other than that rough 4-run second inning, Johnson pitching a heck of a game here so far.
That's right. Yeah, he's looking good. A lot of close calls.
Oh, we just got corrected. It's Austin Vaughn Jones. We only did it incorrectly for the first 3.5 innings, so why not? Ball is in the dirt. It's good to have Will Budnick within earshot of us here. He can correct us and make sure that we're getting that right. So Austin Vaughn Jones continues to pitch, and that ball is lined right at the second baseman. Gerhardt flips it over to Edwards. 2 away. That takes us back to the top of the starting lineup. Brett Schaefer, the center fielder. Schaefer flying out in the first inning, flew out to center, grounded out to short in the second, so he is still looking for his first hit of the game. Schaefer coming into this game with a .281 batting average. Takes that for a strike. Schaefer also the team leader with 6 stolen bases thus far, so if he gets on base, he's certainly a threat to go. Hits that one foul down the first baseline and deep, and running out of our visual sight here anyway. We're not able to see the ball land, but a nice effort by both Edwards and Justice trying to track that ball down the line, landing where they're not. It's going to bring up an 0-2 count to Schaefer. Wind picking up just ever so slightly right now. Still a gorgeous day out here. Schaefer thought about chasing that one as it bounces into the catcher, Garrison Crone. 1-2 count.
1-2.
Austin Von Jones, the right-hander, winds and throws. Swung on and missed. Strike three, a 1-2-3 inning for the Mavericks. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Edmonds Woodway still trailing 4-3, but they're coming up. You're watching the Sound Network. And welcome back. Welcome back to Edmonds Woodway High School. Warriors trailing the Mavericks 4-3. Home team looking to either tie or take the lead here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And leading off for the Warriors, number 3, Brady Edwards at the plate. Edwards flying out to the shortstop back in the first inning. Now he's up for the second time today. And ask and you shall receive. We've gone to the iPad to get some stats from Edmonds Woodway. Edwards grounds out to second. Witzman grabs the ball, throws it over to Walsh, one away, and that will bring up Reed Whitson. So we'll start getting you some stats for the Warriors as they come up to the plate. Chance Justice, their leading hitter this year, with a .432 batting average. Reese batting .391. Crone .353. Mitchell .333. Campanero, who's not playing today, so hasn't played so far, .304. Those are your hitters that are batting over .300 on the year. Nice job by the PA announcer to give the heads up to the tennis courts. Reed Whitson batting .231 coming into the game. I'd like to thank Will Budnick again for putting all these stats online. Of course, if you are an Edmonds Woodway fan, EWHSBaseball.com. 1-2 count to Reed Whitson. Reese fires. Whitson fouls that one off.
Down to 1.
1-2 count. Good to hear that our field mic is working there, as we're able to pick up some sound there. Turn it down just a little bit, just in case anybody gets a little too close. And that is a strike 3 called. Whitson goes down. Fifth strikeout of the game for Elliott Reese. We mentioned earlier, Reese coming into the day with 16 strikeouts in 18 innings. Doing some quick math, that means he's got 22 strikeouts on the year now.
It's pretty impressive so far.
Yeah, and only 23 innings of work. Fouling that one off right towards our microphone. That's Matt Gerhardt. Shakes the camera a bit. Gerhardt striking out back in the second inning of play. Gerhardt looking to get off the schneid a little bit. 3 for 24 at the plate this year. Has managed to walk 5 times, so he's got a good eye at the plate. As soon as we say that, he looks at ball 2. 2-1 is the count. Ball 3, 3-1. So again, Edmonds Woodway, all 3 runs coming in the first inning. So they batted around a bit. Ball 4 and heading down towards first base is Gerhardt. It's going to take us back to the top of the starting lineup where Chance Justice comes up. He's already 2 for 2 today. Mentioned earlier, coming into the game, he was batting .432 on the season. Now batting 18 for 39, and Bill Hummel, the manager for Meadowdale, is going to go out and talk to his pitcher. Reese certainly throwing a good game so far. In the first inning, he gave up 4 base hits, and since that time has really settled down nicely. He's only given up 2 hits and a walk over the last 3 innings. Actually, I should say 2 hits and a walk over the last 2 2/3 innings. He's found his groove here and continues to do so, but with the dangerous Justice at the plate. Coach Hummel figured he'd have a few words with him. Bounces that one in. Nice stop by Coffey, the catcher. One 0 count. Justice looks over towards first base, making sure that Gerhardt isn't leading off too much. Fouls that one off at the plate. 1-1 count. It's 5:12 in the afternoon. That sun continuing to sit high up in the sky right now as we start to get further and further into spring. It's not a bad thing, is it?
No,
Get a chance to play in the daylight.
I'm sure the players appreciate not freezing the whole game.
It's the freezing, it's the daylight, it's everything. We could use a little more of this blue sky, and certainly when you're playing baseball, it's a lot more fun. That ball is laced into center field, bounces right in front of the center fielder, Schaefer. He fields it and gets it back in on the play. Gerhardt's going to head over to third. Justice continuing to be hot. He is 3 for 3 now on the day.
That was a good job making contact with the runner on and high in the count.
So 2 outs. Mitchell's now coming up for his third at bat. Had a sacrifice back in the first inning. Actually, I take that back. He had a single back in the first inning, and it was when the ball was thrown from the pitcher, Reese, over towards first base and floated up the right field line, which ended up scoring Chance Justice. Mitchell then flew out to right field in the second inning. So he now bats for the 3rd time today. Mitchell coming into this game batting .333 on the year.
Looking to get a hit here to at least tie up the game.
Yeah, he has 4 doubles on the year as well, so we know he's got a little bit of power in that bat. If he can find a gap, could be more than just tying it up. He could, in fact, put the Warriors up in the lead.
With a large outfield like this field has, there's more than enough real estate to do that.
And we know Justice has the wheels over there. We've seen him not only on the baseball field, but running back, starting tailback on the football team. He's a guy that can motor around 270 feet fairly quickly if he needs to. Strike 2 called. 2-2 count to Mitchell. Joey Reese standing on deck, hoping to get a chance to bat here in the 4th. Ball is laced down the left field line, just about 10 feet foul. Hear one of the fans yell, "Good contact," and that is in fact the case. Just pulled it a little bit too far. Count stays the same. Another foul off. 2-2 count. Just mentioned Reese on the on-deck circle here, about 7 feet away from us. Tied with Crone for the lead and team lead in RBI coming into the day with 10 each. You know, he'd like to get a shot to drive a few more in. Crone actually has 1 RBI already today, so he now is the team leader. Full count, 3-2. Reese continuing to pitch strong. Looks in at his battery mate, Coffee. And lining that one into center field, just floats a little bit too high. Schaefer makes the catch. Edmonds Woodway strands 2, does not score, and we are through 4 innings of play. Meadowdale 4, Edmonds Woodway 3. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We head to the 5th inning. Steve Willits along with Phil Bernard. Should give a shout out to Angelo Camo, our producer, advisor from Malik Terrace High School, and he's got a handful of folks helping him today. One of which is Hannah Gradwall, student here at Edmonds Woodway High School. Got a couple of Malik Terrace High School students helping us as well. Manveer is operating one of the cameras, and Javen Vivacera, did I get it right? Javen, close enough, right? He's also helping us, so we certainly appreciate everybody for their contributions today. 4-3 score heading to the 5th inning. Jacob Honeywell stepping to the plate. He will be followed by Garrett Walsh and Parker Coffey. So we're at the 2, 3, and 4 spots in the lineup here for Meadowdale. Honeywell takes the first pitch, strike. They're going to say that one's just a bit outside. Ball 1-1 is the count. Honeywell looking for his first base hit of the game. Strike 2. Mentioned he came into the game with a .556 batting average.
Wow.
15 for 27. 4 of those are doubles. No home runs, no triples. And he continues to hit hot as he hits that one over the left fielder's head. Whitson goes to retrieve it and throws it back in, but Honeywell standing at second base with a double. Leading off the 5th inning. That will bring up number 18, Garrett Walsh. Walsh, like we mentioned, batting .400 on the year, so that's not a bad 1-2 punch right there when your 2 and 3 hitters are batting .556 and .400, and they're back-to-back in the lineup.
It's a strong spot of their lineup.
It's not too shabby, is it?
Tough part to get through.
Well, then you've got Coffey that bats right behind him, and he bats .321 on the year.
That's not shabby either.
No. In fact, I know Walsh and Honeywell both had huge games last week against Glacier Peak. Their 17-7 victory. I want to say both of them had 4 hits in that game. Walsh, I believe, had a home run, and Honeywell had 2 or 3 doubles.
A couple of impressive performances.
Yeah, indeed. And then Walsh, I think, the very next day or the game after that, got himself a victory on the mound as well. So 2 guys who are very key components to this Maverick team, and will certainly have a lot to say about whether or not they make the playoffs this year. 4-3 score. And if you weren't listening earlier, these 2 teams right now tied for 4th place really with Mount Lake Terrace in the standings. All 3 teams are 1 game under .500. Separated a little bit percentage-wise. I think we've got a 5-6 team, a 4-5, and a 3-4. And then Glacier Peak is only 1 game ahead of all 3 of those teams in 3rd place. Top 3 teams in the division will automatically qualify for district. 4th place team will have to get a little help either by winning a game against the other 4th place team or hoping to get by Ferndale as that ball is flown out to center field. Walsh hitting that one hard, but right at Marinez, who makes the catch.
Parker Coffee.
Honeywell having to stay put on the play. It's going to bring up the catcher, Parker Coffee. Coffee 0 for 2 today so far. Struck out in the second, flew out to right in the third. So each game so vital to both of these teams right now in terms of them trying to make the playoffs and get into the postseason play. Shorewood really running away with things right now. They are 8-0 on the season. 8 victories, 0 losses. They appear to be the team to catch, or the team that teams might have to wait until postseason play to catch anyway. Linwood with a 6-2 record. They're in second place. And then you get the logjam that we just talked about a minute ago between Glacier Peak, Mountain Lake Terrace, Edmonds Woodway, and Meadowdale.
Head-to-head series like this week are going a long way
They
to
could.
deciding who makes it through that.
Yeah, not only in terms of getting a game up on your opponent, but really for tiebreaker purposes later on in the season. If you're tied at the end of the year, that's always the first tiebreaker. Swung on and missed. Strike one to Coffee. Certainly makes it exciting for the rest of us and makes this game so crucial. If you're Linwood at this point, if you lose a game or two, you're still feeling pretty confident that you're in very solid position to get a playoff spot.
It's nice to have that little cushion.
Indeed. Although you do still want to finish in the top two. I know that first round of games in districts, the 1 and 2 seeds will in fact get the home games. Always nice to play on your home field. But I think at this point, if you are a Meadowdale or an Edmonds Woodway, you would be content just making the playoffs, and you're not caring where you're going to play that first game. Ball is hit towards center field. Marinez floats back on it, right in front of the trees, makes the grab. He gets a little bit of a workout here in the fifth. His second put out. It's going to bring up Dakota Barlament, the right fielder. Barlament doubling in the second. Was hit by a pitch in the third. As Austin Von Jones just continues to get stronger and stronger as this game goes along. Giving up 4 runs in the second inning.
He's been shut down since then. I mean, really no hits.
Yeah, Honeywell obviously hit with a nice double here early on in this inning, but for the most part, he's kept himself out of trouble. Done a nice job of keeping his Warrior teammates in this game so far.
I'm sure you'd like to see another inning like the first inning to help him out, get the win here.
Yeah, no kidding. He definitely needs a little bit of help with those bats as they still continue to trail 4-3. Pitch is just a little bit low. Ball 2, 2-0. See the catcher, Garrison Crone, looking over at Will Budnick, the pitching coach, getting the signal. Relays it to his pitcher, Austin Von Jones. And whenever Will called, it worked. Strike. 2-1 is the count. Of course, Will's son Tate, a big part of this Warrior team last season. Tate now playing at Everett Community College. And son Ryan is playing at Santa Clara. So we've got a couple of Budnicks who've gone on to do big things. And good to see Will still out here coaching this team and helping out and looking to put these guys back in the playoffs. Of course, last year, a heartbreaking 1-0 defeat to Puyallup, the number 1 ranked team in the state of Washington, and one of the top ranked teams in the country last year. As Tate pitched a heck of a ball game. It was a single elimination state tournament, so that was a hard draw for them to begin with. And Edmonds Woodway came very, very close to pulling off a huge upset in that game. 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the fifth. Parliament still at the plate. Waits the Von Jones delivery. Righty versus righty. It's that one to short. Mitchell fields it, throws it across to Edwards. And for the 3rd straight inning, Meadowdale held scoreless. We head to the bottom of the 5th. The Mavericks 4, the Warriors 3. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits along with Phil Bernard. Right down the right field line, Joey Reese hits that one into the corner. He's going for two. Slides in safely at second base with the double. Joey Reese with his first base hit of the game and makes it a nice one. Gets things started correctly there. He represents the tying run here in the fifth inning. It's going to bring up the catcher, Garrison Crone. Crone 2 for 2 already today. A double and a single. As the wind continues to pick up and not only wreak havoc with the ball players, but also with everything at our table here. As my papers are floating all over the place here, Phil.
Catching up with them as best we can.
Yeah, no kidding, right? A little bit tougher when you're doing these baseball games sometimes. We're working off a small table with computers and various equipment needed to make this production happen, not to mention scorebooks, stats, and everything else. And heading down to third on the play is Reese. He is out. Pitch was in the dirt. Got away from the catcher, Coffey, briefly. Coffey then picked it up, threw it down to third base, and Reese on the play thought he could sneak down to the corner there and was not able to do so. Nice play by Coffey to throw him out.
That was a great recovery, great way to keep his eye on the ball and make sure he found it.
Gets caught stealing. So one away. Nobody on base here in the fifth, and that is a costly out for the Warriors as they have found the going tough here after getting 3 runs in the first. Not been able to tie this game up since. And that was one of their best opportunities right there. Ball 4 as Crone walks down to first base. He's now been aboard all 3 times today.
Number 20, designated hitter Nick Hull.
Nick Hull stepping to the plate.
Runner for the Warriors, number 71, Joey Oda.
Joey Oda getting quite the workout. As for the 3rd time today, he is coming in for Crone. I'm going to go with the public address announcer's pronunciation of Oda. Some of the girls from Edmonds Woodway told me O'Day earlier. I'm gonna say this is correct though. So, Joey, if we were not pronouncing your name correctly earlier, we're getting it right now. As Oda gets a lead over on first. Swinging and missing is Hull. Hull has struck out twice already today. Looking to put this ball in play. Dominic Marinez on deck. Marinez 1 for 2 on the day with a double back in the first. Hull takes the pitch for ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Reese ready to throw. Here it comes. Hall hits that one high up into the air. Barely leaving the infield as Ackerman floats back into shallow center. Makes the catch from his shortstop position.
Center fielder, number 1,
2 away.
Marinez.
It's going to bring up Dominic Marinez. Bill Hummel continuing to coach over there on the Meadowdale side. Not only does he stay active coaching the baseball team, he's also the defensive coordinator for the Maverick football team. had a chance to talk to him a little bit before the game. As his future a little bit uncertain right now in football in terms of Meadowdale not having a head coach at this time. He coached under Mark Stewart for quite a few years. Stewart was there for, I believe, 14 seasons before Mike Don replaced him for 2. Hummel was the defensive coordinator for Don. I asked Hummel how much longer he'd like to coach football, and again, not even sure he's going to be back next year, depending on who they bring in as a head football coach, but mentioned his son, who plays on the football team, will be a senior this year, so if anything, he'd like to come back for at least one more. And has always been an outstanding football coach, so we certainly hope that that decision is made. Floating back is the center fielder, Schaefer, makes the catch for the 3rd out, so Edmonds Woodway strands 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th inning. Our score continues to be Meadowdale 4, Edmonds Woodway 3. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willis along with Phil Bernard. 6th inning of play. Meadowdale continuing to lead 4-3. Runs coming in bunches as Edmonds Woodway scoring all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 1st. Meadowdale answered with 4 in the top of the 2nd. And ever since then, nothing but goose eggs. Zeros all over the scoreboard as we are in the 6th inning with a 4-3 game. Kenley Ackerman up for the 2nd time today. He's singled in a run in the 2nd inning and ultimately came around to score. Also walked in the 3rd. For Ackerman. Coming into this game, batting .321. Now, Phil, you got to fill me in on that. You and Will Budnick were just having a conversation during the break here. Will, you knew I was going to bring it up. Will looks at me like, really? Your brother's playing where right now?
He's playing at University of Tennessee Martin.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which is
Division One?
Division One school, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And his team set some sort of a team record this year? Is that what I just heard?
Well,
preface it by saying he wasn't playing.
He was not pitching in this game, but they had a rough interdivision game where they set the NCAA record for most runs allowed in an inning, most runs allowed in a game. It was a poor showing. As
nice job by Ackerman, by the way, to hustle up the line. That ball trickled out to second base where Gerhard had to wait on it. It was a very slow roller. Gerhard tried to make a quick throw over to first base and threw it by Edwards. I don't think it would have mattered as Ackerman was hustling up the line, so we'll give him a single on the play. He ends up on first. So 1 on, nobody out, and that will bring up Alex Thompson with Max Johnson on deck. So how many runs were given up in the inning?
I believe it was 19 in an inning.
And that's the NCAA record.
It was.
Wow.
It was the second game in a series against the conference leading team who was undefeated up to that point. They beat them the game before, and then I guess they were out for revenge in that second game.
Do we know who the team was?
I do not remember.
So it was 19, and then they...
It was Belmont.
Oh, it was
That's
Belmont,
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Good basketball school, too, by the way.
Yes.
Belmont's always in the tournament. So another Tennessee school, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And how many runs were given up in the game for Tennessee Martin?
Oh, I do not remember what the
But it was an
total
NCAA record.
It was an
so
NCAA.
it has to be.
It was high.
There's been some very high-scoring games. We were talking about this on the air the other day when we were doing a community college game. There was a game last, I want to say it was Thursday or Friday, Minnesota State, which is a Division II school. I don't know if I have it in front of me right now, but they were playing another Minnesota school. Final score, I believe, was 41-20.
Wow.
So they got the 10-run rule called against them going after the 8th inning. They'd scored 20 runs and still got doubled up. You don't see that very often. Usually if you score 20 runs, you're going to win by a fairly large number. And I think they gave up like 14 or 15. Ooh, and that hits him right in the back there as Thompson goes down. Not real happy about it either as Thompson has a few words as he heads down towards first base. Really on a play like that, you just need to take one for the team. You just advanced your runner down to second in a close game already anyway.
Especially with no outs, that's 2 on with no outs, and so that's puts Meadowdale in a great position for this inning.
Yeah, at that point you certainly know that Austin Vaughn Jones is not trying to hit anybody, and Jones is going to come out of the game, and it's a very deserving round of applause. As we mentioned, he has not given up a single run since the second inning. So it's 4-3 Meadowdale, no outs here in the 6th, 2 runners on, and we're going to get a relief pitcher. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. 4-3 score here at Edmonds Woodway High School. Meadowdale continuing to lead, and they're threatening for more as they've got 2 runners on. Nick Hull coming into the game for Austin Vaughn Johnson. As we pull up Nick Hull's stats on the year. Again, 1 rough inning for Vaughn Johnson, really the second inning in which he gave up all 4 runs.
Really settled down after that, though, and pitched a strong rest of the game.
Yeah, he has looked very good through, at least through innings 3, 4, and 5. Got into a little bit of trouble here in the 6th, and Edmonds Woodway deciding to make the change. I should also point out, we didn't read his stats earlier, but Jones coming into the day had started 3 games, had pitched 13 in a 3rd inning with an ERA of 1.35. So he had an outstanding ERA prior to coming out today, and that ERA not hurting too much here as he does go 5 innings plus. Of course, the 2 runners that are on base right now do belong to him. Nick Hull coming in. Nick has pitched 4 2/3 innings this year so far. 1 start and 2 appearances in relief. And he is going to look at his first batter of the game, which is Max Johnson. Ackerman on second, Thompson on first. Ackerman getting on a single, and then Thompson was hit by a pitch. Hull stats coming into the game, 4 2/3 innings. Has given up 11 hits, 7 earned runs, walked 3, struck out 6. ERA of 13.50, but as we mentioned, not a whole lot to go on in terms of innings pitched. Ball is bunted over towards shortstop, and nobody there. Beautiful bunt. Johnson hitting that one towards short, knowing darn well that Mitchell was running over to cover second base. Found the perfect spot to put that ball. Gets a single on the play.
There was a slight miscommunication between Edmonds Woodway players there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's first and foremost. He recognized it and took advantage of it. So we now have Ackerman on third, Thompson on second, Johnson on first, Colton Witzman now at the plate. Witzman, the second baseman for Meadowdale, takes the first pitch, strike 1. And after Witzman, we head to the top of the lineup again for Meadowdale, where Brett Schaefer is waiting on deck. 0-1 count. 6th inning of play. Swung on and missed. 0-2 count. Should point out that we will be bringing you plenty of action here on the Sound Live Sports Network, as well as stspn.com. Wesco baseball, softball, and soccer all throughout the spring. Our next broadcast on Sound Live Sports Network as that ball is hit into foul territory down the first base line. And running after it and trying to make the catch, but not able to do so, is the first baseman, Brady Edwards. Next broadcast will be next Tuesday night, a soccer game here at Edmonds Stadium between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and the Meadowdale Mavericks. A lot of good spring action going on all throughout the region, not only in the sports we just mentioned, but track and field as well. Girls tennis also taking place right now. Most of the sports have about 3 weeks left in the regular season before we get into districts, regionals, state, and other post-season activities. Witzman awaits the pitch. 1-2 count. Here comes Nichols' pitch. Strike 3. Gets Witzman swinging. Huge strikeout with the bases loaded. 1 away, and as we mentioned a minute ago, that's going to bring up Brett Schaefer. Schaefer 0 for 3 so far today. He's gotten out just about every way possible. He's flown out to center, he's grounded out to short, and he struck out. He's due for a hit then, right?
You think so? I'm sure he does.
Perfect time to do it with the bases loaded. 1 away. Anything but a ground ball in the infield, and I'm sure Mavericks would be okay with that. Hits that one over to third base. Coming home at the plate and dropping the ball at the plate is Crone. Reese had the right idea. He fired it into Crone, who had a automatic out at home plate if he makes the catch. Just had the ball pop out of his glove. Everybody's safe on the fielder's choice.
Tough break for the Warriors there.
A tough break indeed, and Meadowdale with the first run since the second inning, they now lead 5-3. So on the play, Ackerman comes in to score. Thompson heads down to third. Johnson over to second. Mentioned Schaefer's over at first. And Jacob Honeywell coming to the plate. This is not a guy you want to see with the bases loaded. We mentioned it earlier. Honeywell, .556 batting average coming into the day. 11 singles, 4 doubles, 15 for 27, and had also scored 9 runs on the year. So large numbers no matter how many games you've played.
Very true.
2-0 count to Honeywell. It's a chance to really open this game right now if he can hit a fair ball somewhere. A walk would score a run also. Taken all the way on that play. 2-1 count. Honeywell, right-handed pitcher. Or Hull, rather, right-handed pitcher, facing Honeywell. Chops that one over to shortstop. He's coming home on the play. This time, Reese makes the catch. Automatic out. Thompson gunned down at the plate. Nice play by Mitchell coming home on that one. He only gets 1 out, but it's the most important one. The classic 6-2 put out at the plate. Honeywell ends up on first base on the play. Schaefer's now over on second. Johnson on third. And Garrett Walsh, always dangerous, steps to the plate. Walsh 0 for 3 on the day. He's grounded out to shortstop twice. Also flown out to center. Walsh, not a small guy. He can give a ball right if he gets a hold of one. Walsh coming into this game with 6 RBI on the season. Certainly get a lot more than that if he can put this one deep into the outfield. 2-0 count, or he could get 1 RBI if he walks. And he's 2 pitches away from that.
Several ways he can increase those numbers.
Indeed. 2 outs, so one of which will not be a sacrifice. Second batter in a row in which Hall has faced a 2-0 count with the bases loaded. Nowhere to put Walsh. Hall winds and pitches. And for the second straight at bat, the 2-0 batter takes a called strike, 2-1. Parker Coffey, the catcher, on deck. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Walsh had big ideas on that one, just got the under that ball just a little bit too far, fouled it backwards, 2-2 count. Give a little shout out to our umpires here today as well. The guys that always like to get the shout out because they certainly don't get a lot of love from the stands usually, right? No matter what they call, half of the audience or half the crowd is never happy with them. Ball is in the dirt, and nice job by Crone to block that ball and keep it in front of him, not let it get away enough for the runners to advance. So 3-2 count. So Bruce Peterson is our home plate umpire today. Greg Schaaf over by shortstop rather. Relatively, I don't know if I'd ever say it's an easy game, but it hasn't been too difficult for them so far. We haven't had a lot of really close plays.
Yeah, no arguments, no complaints yet.
No, nobody's been kicked out. It's always a good thing. Still a full count here, so Walsh one strike away from ending the inning with a strikeout, 1 ball away from getting Meadowdale another run up on the board with the bases loaded. Something's got to give, right? Let's see what happens. Right. And it's ball 4. Walsh, RBI walk. It's on down. So on the play, Max Johnson coming in to score. Put Schaefer over on third, Honeywell on second. It's going to bring up Parker Coffey, and it is now a 6-3 game for Meadowdale.
Number 10 catcher, Parker Coffey.
Coffey, the catcher, 0 for 3 today. He struck out in the second, flew out to right in the third, flew out to center in the fifth. Looking at these kids over here with their mitts, and one of them even has a Tate Budnick T-shirt. Isn't another? There was such a thing. Tate Budnick T-shirt on one of the kids. I'm looking over at his dad, Will, here. That's impressive. You know you're not a bad baseball player when you have your own T-shirt in high school.
That's a good start to a career, anyway.
Not bad. Coffey looking at a 1-0 count. I need to know the story on that before it's all said and done. I've never seen that before.
That's first for me.
Strike called, 1-1. Unless it's a relative, maybe Tate paid him off to wear the shirt. I don't know. I think it said, what does it say? Big stick, bigger arm, or something like that. I couldn't read it, but his own fan club. Why not? 1-1 count. That ball's hit up the middle, and it's going to get all the way through. 1 run is in. A second one looking to come through to the plate. The throw up the line a little bit. Might have even hit him. 2 runs score. Meadowdale now with an 8-3 lead. And give Parker Coffey a 2-run, we'll call it a single, as he advances to second on the throw. And Meadowdale with 4 more runs here in the 6th. Broken it somewhat open now. Schaefer coming in to score. Honeywell coming in to score as well. Walsh goes down to third.
Courtesy runner for the Mavs, number 1, Malik Braxton.
Coffey's going to get a courtesy runner in the form of Malik Braxton.
Number 12 right fielder, Dakota
Paxton, a player we've seen once or twice this year, playing both football and basketball. So bring it up to the right fielder. Parliament doubling in the second, coming around to score later on. Was hit by a pitch in the third and then grounded out to short in the fifth. Ball is in the dirt. Garrison Crone making a nice stop. So Meadowdale only scoring in 2 different innings, but they've lit up both of those. 4 in the second, 4 here in the sixth. All continuing to pitch here. And Parliament fouls that one up into the tennis courts. That has got to be and good for the public address announcer for making sure that everybody knows, but I could kind of see from here as we're trying to look over the bleachers here, when we hear that shout out by the public address announcer letting them know that heads up, you see the girls kind of ducking and holding their heads, but even at that you can still get hit, right? That's not a guarantee.
For sure. That's probably the 6th time already this game that's happened. That's a pretty common occurrence.
I've never seen a tennis player wear a batting helmet, but I think I might do that if I was playing tennis here.
It might be a new trend.
Yeah, or just not play tennis. I don't know. Might be the one thing to keep you away from playing on the tennis team, knowing that it's during baseball season. 1-1 count to Dakota Parliament. Parliament, the 9th hitter of the inning. It's that one right through the wickets there over at third base. It bounces over to Mitchell. Everybody advancing as Reese couldn't quite come up with that one. We'll be very generous. I'll give Parliament a base hit, even though it's a tough one, but it was hit sharply at Reese. Reese probably should have had that one, but it gets away from him. Walsh comes in to score on the play. Braxton, who's courtesy running for coffee, moves on down to third. So first and third, 2 outs, already 5 runs here in the 6th inning for Meadowdale. They now lead 9-3. And Kenley Ackerman at the plate pops that one off and hits that one towards the tennis courts.
May have made it to the parking lot.
Yeah, that was awfully close. You get bonus points for that if you hit
Oh.
into the parking lot?
Yeah, break a windshield.
There you go. I don't know if the car owner would feel that way, but I'd be impressed if somebody hit the porta potty down the
That'd be a heck of a shot, yeah.
It would be a deep shot. It's a good 320, and you'd have to pull the ball severely down the left field line there. Looks like it's a good 30 feet, 40 feet off of the line, or if more.
That'd be a surprise for any occupant in there.
Yeah, no kidding, right? 1-1 count. Yeah, already not everybody's favorite place to be, and certainly if you've got flying baseballs jarring you over there, that would not be a good thing. 1-1, and here comes the pitch. Strike 2 called, throw over to first base. Parliament getting back. So Kenley Ackerman up for the 2nd time this inning. Singled to get everything started here in the 6th. Advanced to second when Thompson was hit by a pitch and eventually came around to score. Ackerman waits for the pitch. Hits that one into left field. Backing up on it is Whitson. Camps underneath it. Makes the catch for the 3rd out, but not before Meadowdale does a severe amount of damage to Edmonds Woodway. They score 5 runs here in the top of the 6th inning. Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 3. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back at Edmonds Woodway High School, where the Warriors now trail the Meadowdale Mavericks 9-3. After watching Meadowdale put up 5 runs in their half of the 6th inning, Edmonds Woodway hoping to do something similar here, but it's going to be a rough go as Elliott Reese continuing to pitch lights out. Ever since giving up 3 runs in the first inning, he has not given up much of anything since then. 4 consecutive shutout innings. Looking for a 5th one as Brady Edwards steps to the plate. Edwards shows bunt, pulls it back, takes the strike, 1-2 count. Edwards 0-2 on the day. Flew out to the shortstop in the first inning and grounded out to second in the 4th. Hits that one down the third base line. Making the play is Honeywell, throws it over to Walsh, 1 away. It's going to bring up Reed Whitson.
Number 10, left fielder, Reed Whitson.
Whitson striking out in both of his previous plate appearances, back in the 2nd and 4th inning. Hoping to put this ball in play. Swinging and missing, strike 1. 0-1 count. So again, we remind everyone, first of a 3-game series, 3 consecutive days. The next 2 days, these 2 teams will be over at Meadowdale High School. Both games 4 p.m. starts. And hopefully decent weather coming our way for both games, so encourage folks to get out and watch those games. Ball gets away on strike 3. Coffey picks it up, throws it to first. Just in time, gets the out. Smart play by Whitson to hustle up the line, and even better play by Coffey to make that throw.
Number 15, second baseman.
Couldn't even tell, Walsh might have even tagged him as he went by. Either way, he makes the catch over there and makes the put out. It's going to bring up Matt Gerhardt. Gerhardt striking out in the 2nd, walking in the 4th. Fouls that one off the backstop, 0-1 count. Chance Justice in the on-deck circle. He's 3 for 3 today so far. Gerhardt looking at a 1-1 count. Strike 2 called. Sun continuing to shine here at Edmonds Woodway. Gerhardt hits that one between short and third, picking it up as Honeywell fires it over. Pulls Walsh slightly off the bag, but not before he tags the plate. 1, 2, 3 inning, and we head to the 7th and final inning of play. Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 3. You're watching this Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And welcome back to Edmonds Woodway High School. Steve Willits along with Phil Bernard. Edmonds Woodway trailing in Meadowdale 9-3 right now. And if Dan Samoza's team is going to get back into this game, you need to hold Meadowdale to hopefully a fairly quick top of the 7th inning and then get those bats going.
Need a big rally here.
Need to get some outs first as Nick Hall continues to pitch. He came in relief last inning with 2 runners already on base. Saw those 2 runners come around to score and then gave up 3 of his own. 9-3 ball game right now. So Alex Thompson, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. Alex was hit by a pitch in his last at bat and ended up ultimately being thrown out at the plate with the bases loaded on a force out. Standing in there with a 1-0 count. Ball's chopped over to second base. Gerhardt fields it cleanly, throws to Edwards. Quickly 1 away. It's going to bring up number 16, Max Johnson. Johnson already with a couple RBI as well as a couple runs today. Oh, actually, we're going to get a pinch hitter now.
Number 20, Hunter Schaus.
Number 20, Hunter Schaus getting his first action of the game. Schaus. Spelled like house with an S in front of it. I mentioned coming in for Max Johnson. We'll see if he also ends up playing left field, which is where Johnson was. One out, nobody on. Hall's first pitch is a strike.
Good job, Ned. Let's go.
Haven't yet to see any other scores from other games, as we'll try to surf Twitter here for a little bit, see if we can come up with anything, as we know that as we get later and later in the season, these games become oh so crucial for all of these teams, really. 0-2 count as Schaus fouls that one off. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here right now. Of course, it doesn't help that we're standing in the shade, whereas most of the field's in the sun. Still looking at an 0-2 count. Really in a series where both of these teams came into the week tied. Losing this first game really puts a little pressure on the other team, which looks like at this point it will end up being Edmonds Woodway unless they put together one heck of a rally in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cannot afford to get swept this week, that's for sure, with the season winding down here in the next 2 or 3 weeks for both teams.
Yeah, getting those 2 away wins even that much more important.
Yeah, absolutely. So for Meadowdale to come in here and possibly steal one at home or on the road, be a nice confidence builder for them going home the next 2 games. Schaus stepping in there. Hits that one towards first base. Edwards will take it himself. Gets the put out on the play. 2 away. It's going to bring up Colton Witzman. As we mentioned a minute ago, tomorrow's matchup, Brady Edwards versus Garrett Walsh. Look at some stats here while we're at it. Both pitchers regulars in their starting rotations. Walsh will head into tomorrow with an ERA of 3.0 as he's pitched 14 innings so far this year with a record of 1-0. And then for Edmonds Woodway, Edwards, who is playing over on first base today. That ball's fouled off, strike. Edwards with a 9.00 ERA through 15 innings of play. 12 walks, 12 strikeouts in 15 innings, so he's feast or famine there. He'll either strike you out or walk you more often than not. He's also given up 19 hits in those 15 innings, so really Edwards needs to step up and have a big game tomorrow for the Warriors to try to break out of this losing streak to the Mavs if they do in fact go on to lose. 1, 2, 3 innings, so nice job by Nick Hull to come on strong here in the 7th. 3 more outs away from Meadowdale taking the first of 3 games. We head to the bottom of the 7th, 9-3 Mavericks. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Little Bill Conti in the background, the theme to Rocky.
Trying to get the team fired up, get that going.
It's one way to do it, I guess. When you're down by 6, you need all the help you can get. I will say this, the public address announcers here, as well as their choice of music, has been strong all day. It's been a lot of fun to listen to, and a little bit of everything. We've got music from the 70s and 80s, as well as music from today. Mostly, I think it's old school, but a little AC/DC earlier, a little Survivor, stuff that Angelo Como to my right loves. As Schaefer looks at strike one as he leads off the first inning, or the 7th inning. He also led off the first inning. He's the leadoff hitter, after all.
It's usually what they do.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange.
1-1 is the count. As Schaefer back in that first inning flew out to center. He's also grounded out to short, struck out, and then got on base on a fielder's choice. Ended up scoring on that one as that ball's hit to short, and very wisely just holding on to that ball knowing he didn't have a play. It's Kenley Ackerman. And with a 6-run lead, you can do that. Why let them take an extra base or two out of it when you know that you still have that force out option at second with the next batter? So Schaefer, give him an infield single on that one. It's going to bring up apparently a pinch hitter right now. Or maybe not. Maybe if I was looking at the right team, it would help, right? That was Chance Justice that hit that last ball, and he actually doubled in 2 singles, so he's 4 for 4 on the day.
Good day for him then.
A great day for him. Unfortunately for his team, not having the same success, but Justice, who's been tough all season on base. So disregard Britt Schaefer was not at the plate because he plays for the other team. He's still in the field. He's playing center right now. And Brady Mitchell is at the plate. Mitchell 1 for 3 on the day. He singled back in the first, eventually came around to score. He's also flown out to right and flown out to center.
Sure, he's looking to try to find some of that gap out there instead of right 2 players.
Yeah, he's had the right idea. He's been lifting the ball into the outfield, just putting a little too much underneath it. 3-1 count, and right now he just needs to get on base, and that's exactly what he does. First 2 batters getting on base here in the bottom of the 7th inning as Mitchell ends up walking. It's going to bring up Joey Reese, and for Edmonds Woodway, if you need to get a rally going, what better way to start it than having the top of your lineup at the plate, and that's exactly what's happened so far. So your 1 and 2 hitters are on base. Joey Reese, your number 3 hitters up. Harrison Crone, your 4 hitters on deck. Chopper to second base. Everybody's safe. So Witzman tried to make the play. Had the ball bounce away from his glove, and while trying to retrieve it, ran into Brandon Mitchell. Nobody hurt there. No harm, no foul. Is nothing called by the umpires. And on the play, everybody advances 90 feet. Joey Reese is over on first base. Mitchell on second. Justice on third. And all of a sudden, this game gets just a little bit more interesting. You're looking at your power hitter at the plate. Down by 6. You could put this into make this a 2-run game with just 1 swing of the bat all of a sudden.
That was a perfect start to the inning for the Warriors here.
Ball was a little bit low. 1-0 is the count. Nick Hull, who started off this game as the designated hitter, now pitching. He's on deck. 1-1 count. Elliott Reese looking for the complete game. That ball is hit deep into the outfield. Going back on it is the right fielder, and making the catch is Barlament. 2 lead runners tagging up on the play. So coming in to score is Chance Justice. Makes it a 9-4 ball game. Mitchell heads on down to third. Reese staying put at first. So give Cronin RBI sacrifice. It's going to bring up Nick Hull. Hull looking to get a little bit more of a rally going. He needs to stay out of the double play as the Warriors are 2 outs away from losing this game. First pitch is taken for a strike. Dominic Marinez now in the on-deck circle, hoping to get another shot at it. Ball is fouled off behind us towards the tennis courts. Could overshot the tennis courts even, so certainly nobody in danger that time around. 0-2 count. In the dirt. Nice job to keep that one in front of him as Parker Coffey bats it down. On the play, Reese was able to move from first to second. Takes away the double play ground ball anyway. So 2 runners in scoring position, second and third. First base is open, 1 out. Warriors continuing to trail by 5. Reese winds and throws in the dirt one more time, 2-2 count. Boy, he's in his 7th inning of pitching right now, and you have to start wondering if maybe Elliott Reese is getting a little bit tired out there.
That was a couple missed pitches in a row there.
Anytime you start leaving him short in the dirt, could be a sign that fatigue might be setting in a little bit. Strike 3 called inside corner, and I don't know if Nick Hull agreed with it, but it doesn't matter. Bruce Peterson saw it differently. Rings him up, and we are now 1 out away from Meadowdale, taking the first of the 3-game series. Dominic Marinez looking to keep things alive right now. 1 for 3 on the day. He doubled back in the first inning, RBI double. Grounded out to second in the third. Flew out to center in the 5th. Hits this one deep into right field. Barlament makes the catch, and we have come to the end of the game. Our final score, Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 4. Meadowdale bringing their division record up to 4-4 on the year. They're 5-5 overall. Edmonds Woodway falls to 4-6 in league play. They are now 5-7 overall. And we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will hopefully interview our player of the game and then wrap things up. Once again, you are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network from Edmonds Woodway High School.
If you've been wanting to get back in the game, whether it's basketball or just improving your fitness level, Edmonds Sports Academy is the place to go. Edmonds Sports Academy. Believe in the power of play.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
If you're right here, you'll be out of camera angle. So.
Yeah.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 4. We invite you to stick around for just a couple more minutes as we await to have an interview with our player of the game. Bill Hummel still talking to his squad out there after the victory. Again, that brings their record to 4 wins and 4 losses on the season, 5-5 overall. As Meadowdale gets that much closer to trying to get into playoff range. At this point, we're going to go ahead and flip our mic off as I go out there and try to grab one of the players, but we invite you to stick around and keep watching as we should have that interview up very shortly. Right here, we're going to look right in that camera right there. Angela, you ready? Yeah, Elliot. Okay. Hopefully we are on here as we test the microphone. We're doing a little bit of everything. Welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Our final score, Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 4. The winning pitcher who went the distance, Elliot Reese. And Elliot, first inning was a little bit rough for you. You gave up 3 runs and then settled down. What adjustments did you make after that first inning?
I think mainly the big thing was I started staying away from my fastball more because I think that's what they were sitting on, and started going to my second and third pitches more, and that's what made the difference.
Yeah, this is a team, a school that's just a few miles away from you. I'm guessing you've probably grown up playing against some of these guys. Does that make it a little more challenging knowing that they probably know your stuff better than others?
I don't think so. I think every time you get up to bat, it's kind of a who brings it every time. I think it just makes it more fun and competitive than anything.
Now, what pitches were working for you tonight? You mentioned the fastball. You kind of got away from it, so what did you go to?
Mostly my slider. My slider was a little bit better than it usually is today. Everything else was decent, but I think the slider was the one that kind of made the difference.
Now, we talked about it a minute ago, but getting back to it, Edmonds Woodway, a team that's just right down the street. The last few years, this was a team that would have been a non-conference game. How much fun is it knowing that this is an Edmonds School District team that now the games count in the standings?
It makes it a lot more fun, because I think last year we played them the first game of our season. So this year we get to prepare for them a little bit more and come in definitely wanting something out of this. And we haven't beat them in 10 years or something, so we want this year more than anything.
Well, and especially with the playoffs on the line. Now, tomorrow you guys turn back around. It's Brady Edwards versus Garrett Walsh. What can we expect out of Garrett tomorrow?
A better performance than you saw today. Garrett will bring everything, and they got to be ready for every pitch of every at-bat to beat him.
Well, we'll let you go again. Your record now 5-5 on the season, that much closer to the playoffs. 5 strikeouts today, complete game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so again, Elliott Reese is our player of the game. The final score, 9-4. Edmonds Woodway falling to Meadowdale. Meadowdale now 4-4 in conference play, 5-5 on the season overall. Edmonds Woodway 4-6 in conference play, 5-7 overall. And we invite folks to come on out tomorrow and on Friday. Both games will be at Meadowdale High School. No broadcast, so don't tune in on the computer, but get out and support these two teams. It should be a fun game. So again, our next broadcast, April 21st, a soccer game from Edmonds Stadium, which is directly in front of me here. Matchup between Mountain Lake Terrace and Meadowdale. So for everybody that was involved with our broadcast today, we appreciate all the help. We appreciate you for tuning in. My name's Steve Willits, and once again, the final score, Meadowdale 9, Edmonds Woodway 4. You've been watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. Have a good night.